He just held a ruler in the corner, and to his horror, he realized that the same wall in different locations was more than 30 degrees different. And even more amazing, pouring a glass of water on a flat surface, he instantly split into 2 parts. He rushed to find a tape measure to measure. Inside the house, there were 3 meters more than outside. Even the little girl was amazed. To understand this movie, we have to start at the beginning. Nick is a famous screenwriter. His wife is an actress 18 years younger than him. Nick rented a villa in a remote area. He moved in the next day with his wife and daughter. He and his wife were very happy with the design of the house, but Nick suddenly heard a strange noise, but his wife didn't hear anything. At night, Nick went downstairs to turn off the lights and go to bed. The time on the clock was 10:34. His daughter was alone in bed, playing a hand shadow game, but then a dark shadow suddenly appeared on the wall. The girl was startled. Luckily, her father arrived just in time. The daughter told Nick she saw a strange shadow. Nick comforted the child and went back to his room. He didn't realize that nearly 5 hours had passed. The next morning, the daughter suddenly asked her mother why the neighbors hated her father. It turned out that Nick had been married before, but his ex-wife drowned in the bathtub. Nick decided to go to the store, but what the store owner said startled him. It turns out that before Nick moved in, the man who owned the villa mysteriously disappeared from the house. Before he left, he gave Nick a ruler. The man opened his notebook late at night, but he found an extra paragraph in his notebook, asking him to leave the house immediately. The handwriting on it was exactly the same as his own, but Nick had never written that before. Then suddenly there were footsteps behind him. He looked back, but there was nothing there. But then there was the sound of a door slamming. Suddenly, he realized there was a door in the bookshelf. When he opened it, inside was a deep, bottomless hallway. When he went down, he found a lot of photographs. He also found his daughter's room. His daughter had already drowned. He thought everything was his nightmare. He even broke a bottle and plunged it into his neck. Luckily, it was all just a dream. But after careful examination by the two of them, they did not find any abnormalities. After that, they had a big fight over cell phones. The wife drove off in a huff, but just after he left, Nick was in the notebook. Nick saw in the notebook another sentence that it was too late to leave. At that moment, his daughter accidentally broke the glass. Strangely, the water on the floor split into 2 parts. The daughter felt a chill, rushed back to the house, but she entered a mysterious space. Nick never saw his daughter come out. He realized that his daughter might be in danger. He searched every corner. The structure of the house changed. The villa seemed to have turned into a labyrinth, and the door in his nightmare. The door from the nightmare actually appeared in front of him. He thought his daughter should be in it, but when he walked in, the door behind him suddenly closed by itself, and the girl on the other side ran away screaming from an old man. Outside the door, Nick heard her daughter's voice. Luckily, she found her missing daughter on the stairs. She was just in shock. He called the store owner, but the owner told Nick that he'd never get out of here. The villa was originally a church for sinful souls. Anyone who's ever sinned is trapped inside. A father holding his daughter in his arms in the middle of the night, trying desperately to escape from this horrible villa. To his horror, the villa reappeared in front of him. He was too tired. He decided to find a way out tomorrow. However, just as they lay down to rest, he realized that someone was filming them. That's when the memory flooded his mind. The photo he saw in the basement. It was taken at this exact time. He got up to check it out. He re-entered the mysterious space. A bathtub filled with water caught his eye. But the next moment, a PPO grabbed him from behind, strangled him from behind. He realized that she was his ex-wife. Nick stood up in a hurry. He ran upstairs in fear. He saw himself a few days ago. He hurriedly wrote down in his notebook to leave quickly. He went to the living room. Time shifted again. This time, he came to the time when they had just moved into the villa. And the strange sound he heard then was actually his own cry for help. At that moment, the watch began to rotate at high speed. The stairs were twisted. He tried his best to climb up, but then the white light flashed again, and he was still standing where he was just now. After unremitting efforts, he managed to climb up the stairs. He met the old man who had been talking to his daughter. The old man told Nick, "You did this to yourself." But as the old man took off his hat, it was Nick himself. "From the moment you set foot in the villa, you'll never leave this place." Nick sat on the ground in shock, and the old man told him, "Now you know what to do." As soon as the words were out of his mouth, The old man disappeared. He walked up the stairs with his daughter in his arms. At that moment, his wife came back from her anger. He revealed to her the real reason for his ex-wife's death, a sin that will never go away. The villa is a court of justice for the guilty. Those who are not guilty can easily leave, but he will never be able to walk away from it. At the end, he put his daughter in the car. He said goodbye to his wife, and the villa was put on the internet again.